It's about to be boating season. Maybe some of you are shopping for a boat, a wake boat specifically, and are freaking out of how much they still cost. Even the used ones. I mean, when they cost 200 grand new, they're gonna cost 150 grand used or whatever. And my petition to you is that you don't have to spend that kind of money. Behind me, behold, the Malibu XTI. I think it was made in the early 2000s, like maybe 01 to 06 or something. Probably should have looked that up before, but I'll give you a little walkthrough and tell you why I think this is the ultimate boat that didn't take off, didn't get popular, and that's probably why you've never seen it or heard of it. About this boat, you say? Just an old used wake boat. And I would say to most, yes, they're all the same. Same shape, same design, same walkthrough, and it's just little things, and for 20 years been used to all the same stuff. However, this was different. When this first came out, I don't know, it was the first time I saw it, probably 2000 or something, and I was just blown away to see this, and it's like a limousine back here. I put a double bimini up here just so we could chill in the shade. But you just look at how far you are back here. This is a really comfortable, spacious boat. Nice walkthrough. This is a 2002. You can still find them in good shape like this. This big trunk back here, they would call it. This has Malibu's tried and true Monsoon 5.7 GM engine. Being a center mount or direct drive, there is no V drive, so you have one less thing to go wrong or service, whereas most of the wake boats have their engines back here. This engine is turned around 180 degrees, comes into a V drive, into the transmission into V drive, and then the shaft comes out at exactly the same spot. So underneath, these boats are identical to a V drive. Really, the only difference is taking this weight and putting it back there. But you can imagine how much weight you can get back there by loading it full of people. So that's really the big misconception with direct drives. But typically direct drives are always built as ski boats, so they didn't produce a decent wake. And just as a disclaimer, as I'm saying all this, we're out at our private lake here, which they really frown upon large wakes, and they fine you. So I don't use any of these wake enhancing devices while we're out here, just for the record. Okay? But filler cushion, walk through. It's got an air dam to block the cold air, heater. This is the perfect pass speed control, which is also known as the marriage saver. So the way this works is when you turn this on, you will set a speed digitally, and then the boat goes, you just push the throttle all the way down and the boat goes straight to that speed. So you don't have to fight the throttle or tow somebody at 15 miles an hour or 25 miles an hour and back and forth. This is kind of one of Malibu's old things. They used to put the head units in here. This one's just got like a black box and a Bluetooth stereo on it. But that's where you'll find the stereo on the XTIs. So just going through the switches here. It's horn, lights, accessories, left ballast, right ballast, center ballast. Can't see heater, high and low. Stereo, power up the stereo. Bilge blower. These are the if you are looking at getting one, check disc gauges out because they are pretty high failure rate on these older Malibus. And then you'll always see the hours in here. But the one thing also to be aware of is with any of these older boats, any boats really, by comparison to cars with an odometer, you just change that gauge out and you're at whatever that old gauge said. So and then sometimes they're even mechanical, whereas you can hook, you go to a dealer, it doesn't have to be a Malibu dealer, but you go to any dealer that has a software and they can plug in here and it'll show you how many hours that boat has, and oftentimes in what RPM range, how many hours are spent, so you could kind of see how it was used and ran. So that's, and you'll find what's pretty interesting is a lot of people always freak out on the hours. Like, oh, it's got 700 hours. More times than not, half of those hours are at idle while you're waiting for a skier, waiting for a trailer. You know, so there's a little trap door to access your wedge. So the wedge is up. You just pinch 2 buttons and it manually drops down and then locks in. And what the wedge does is it kind of pulls, it works as a foil and it pulls the back of the boat down to displace more water. So, and that's displacement is all about, you know, getting a bigger wake. So pop-up cleats. You know, with this rear bimini that we put on, it kind of makes it harder getting in and out, but it's worth it. You still get a pretty good access here. You can still get the tow rope up here. So, I don't know, a pretty clean boat for its age, and it just works. It gets the job done, and I really love these boats. Possible to have a good sized wake boat that you could take your whole crew out with, ballast, wake shaping devices, speed control for under 30 grand. I say yes. You're gonna have more fun on a $200,000 wake boat? I say no. I think the opposite, because not because it's more expensive, but it's just you'll stress about it more. You know, with you get a nice, clean. Forgive me, I didn't change the battery out, but my boat's not clean right now. But you get a nice, spacious wake boat that's been kept in good shape. You have just as much fun. You'll have more fun because you're not worried about it. The Malibu XTI, to me, is the forgotten boat. It's a design that just never got popular. And I don't know why. It's like a limousine. You sit in the back, you're so far back there. It's really, I think it's a great boat. But for those of you that aspire to be out on the lake and having a good time but think you can't afford it, you can. Just shop, look for the right deal, but also it's the right seller. And you find the right boat and the dude's shifty or they haven't owned it that long or something, you know, if there's not a good story on it. This boat was a one owner, one family, always stored indoors in Southern California. It's got like 280 hours on it, and it's an 02. So it's 23 years old. So this is another cautionary tale is in the boating industry, people will say, you know, change your oil every 50 hours. The other part to that is every 50 hours or annually. And a lot of people don't take that annually part because it doesn't benefit them financially. So, you know, a boat like this that gets 10 hours a year on average, is that to say that maybe it goes 4 or 5 years without the oil being changed and runs that 3rd or 4th season on 4-year-old oil that's had all sorts of condensation and, you know, it's lost all its additives and protective, nature to it. So that's something to really kind of be cautious of. Is a very low hour boat is not always a great thing. So, you know, a high hour, 1,000-hour ski boat that's been well cared for is there's nothing to be afraid of in that at all. So, and it is a nice day out here right now. This is why we love it out here, always having this glass like this. Not always, I mean the wind does blow out here for sure, but yeah, conditions are nice right now. I think we might go do some wake skating. We'll see.